What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Jim Bird TV. I am your humble host, Jackson, and welcome to Portugal in the year 1700. So we've reached the 10-year mark of the campaign. So a lot has changed in 10 years for Portugal. So I think it's appropriate that we take a step back and just assess the situation, just like I did in the beginning. So let's start off with the new territories that we now possess. Now, obviously, in Europe, we have conquered all of the Iberian Peninsula here. We took the Spanish capital and Gibraltar from them. We still have this pretty stout army now that has replenished and been further supplied. So this has greatly expanded our domestic economic income. Trade is still by far our largest source of income, but it's nice that we have a stronger foundation supporting our monthly revenue. Let's just take a look at the new buildings that we have at our disposal here. So starting out along the coast, we have 3 new ports and 1 developing up here in the far north of Spain. This one is actually a shipyard, which is very cool. This gives us the ability to make some war galleons and some fire ships, brig of wars, sloop of wars. So these are definitely upgrades to our navy, and I'm gonna start adding to our fleet very soon. Along with that shipyard, we have 2 new trading ports here. Now that gave us a lot more trade routes. So now we have far more trade partners right now. I mean, look at this list. We were able to grow that so much by taking these 2 ports. We've got a horse farm down here, some more high yield vineyards. Right now we have wineries built there, which is very nice. Another farm, a high yield farm up here in the north. Spain comes with a university over here at Salamanca. So that gave us an additional research slot that we are putting to use here. Now, there are still 2 Spanish gentlemen in here. I've sent our gentlemen here to do research initially, but at some point we are going to attempt a duel here. However, both of these gentlemen are leveled higher than mine, so hopefully they don't try to duel me, and I may even consider sending a different one. But so for now, he's just boosting research while we get military planning doctrine, because our fella over here, Mr. Camilo Enriquez, has been on a cold streak, let me tell you, trying to steal research. But I'm going to ask him to try to steal preserved foods just one more time while we're here. Now, Spain also has this village in the north that is growing. It's actually going to be developed in 14 turns, so we're going to be able to build whatever we want here. So that is very nice for us, because that's much quicker than we are going to get our next town in Portugal. It's still going to be 44 turns, even though we're not taxing the middle classes hardly at all. So that's a big bonus for us. Now, Spain also has 2 towns that have pleasure gardens on them, which is fair. You know, it's fair. But we don't need that many rakes. So I am going to demolish this one over here. We'll keep this one because it's nice and central between our 2 capitals. You know, when our aristocrats want to take some leave, this one is very well positioned. But this one over here, it could be serving a better purpose. You know, all this one's doing is attracting the riffraff from north of these mountains. I've forgotten what this mountain range is called, but you know, it's just pulling in the worst of the worst from over there. So we are going to dismantle this and put it to better use next turn. Now in Europe, we also have a couple of rakes that I am sending out to gather some information for us. I'm sending this one into Western France, and I have this one over here snooping around that I'm actually going to be sending out this way. Yes, because there is a pretty large French force here. They have some dragoons. Interesting. Some elite infantry, some pikemen, line. Yeah, this is a decent little army. Bunch of cannons and some nice cav. See, this cav right now is a disadvantage for us against everybody. Because the best cav that we can make at the moment are provincial cav, and they're just, they're serviceable, but so far everyone we've fought has had superior cav to us on the field. So hopefully that's somewhere we can improve. Yeah, so in order to get some better cav, I know if we upgrade our barracks, that's going to give us the ability. Well, we're also going to have carbines as well, but that'll give us the ability. These hussars will be the next upgrade to our cav, I believe we'll be able to make. And these horse farms that we have in southern Spain, that lowers recruitment cost for cav. So that's nice to know. That is an area that I would like to improve our army. Also, while I'm looking here, I'm just going to move this rake down here because we got to keep an eye on Morocco to our south, because they are looking pretty stout. They've got a pretty solid little army here. Bunch of cannons, some more cannons. But they also have a very nice little province here, and it is part of our objectives. That is something we need to control to achieve our victory conditions. Now, this army in Madrid is fully stacked up. So no more recruitment to do there. However, our army in Lisbon that we've raised up, it could use some investment. So I'm just going to toss out a few more of these guys and another elite infantry. Now in India, we have also expanded our territory since the start of the campaign. We still have Goa, which was our original province. We took Satara, and this has actually become our most profitable city, I believe. We can actually look at the lists here. Regions. Yes, if we sort them by income, these two cities that we've captured are actually both more valuable than our original capital. Also, Ceylon here, that we snagged off of the Dutch. This was a very nice pickup as well. This gave us some a deep gem shaft, another tea plantation, another farm, and another trading port as well. So in total, we now have 3 trading ports in India, and we also have the bulk of our navy concentrated in India right now. They've all come back to port to repair, because we snagged some new ships in our fight with the Spanish fleet. Here we go, the galleon right here, terrible. So they've come back to port, they've repaired. So this fleet is even stronger than before, fully repaired. Roberto Fernandez at the ripe age of 46, really solid admiral here. Quite a few traits. He's got himself a presentation sword for a naval career of much distinction. And I have to agree. And also just look at his hair. I mean, come on. You kidding me? So he is now going to head back out of India, back to Madagascar. Now this navy that's in this port near Goa, it is our smaller reserve fleet, not super fit for battle. But we're gonna slowly be improving it over the next few turns. We already have 1 full rig lined up here. But before I do that, I am going to finish up recruitment for these 2 armies, because it doesn't matter how nice this fleet is if we can't stop this Mughal force and this army of Mysore, and this army. to our east. We're kind of surrounded by pretty powerful armies. And ideally, we would be able to fight them separately, but we have to be prepared for the possibility of fighting at least some of these armies together in a coordinated attack because they're allies. So hopefully they don't do that. That's worst case scenario for us, but we have to at least be prepared for it. So that being said, in Goa, I'm gonna slap down some more pikemen and these sepoys. Now I've actually realized that these sepoys have much higher morale than these Hindu musketeers. For some reason, because these were labeled as line infantry and the sepoys were labeled as militia, I assumed they were worse, but if you look at their stats, they're actually kind of better. And they're cheaper. So I don't know if there's something I'm missing here. I mean, the Hindu musketeers definitely have higher melee defense, but especially fighting these Mughal forces, it's very important that if they do get charges on us, especially considering the way that we fight these Mughal forces, by letting them get limited, isolated melee charges on us and rear charging them with cav, having these extra few points of morale just seems much more valuable. Now our force in Satara is only short 2 units. And we've got plenty of cav here. So I'm just going to make these 2 units some more of these. We'll do more of these colonial matchlocks. They're kind of a middle ground between the 2 of these to me. They're more expensive, but they look cooler. And, well, I don't know if they look cooler. The Hindu musketeers do look pretty cool. But they've got more morale, and they've got more melee defense than the sepoys. So we'll throw a couple of those in there. We'll also replenish Louis' bodyguard here. And we will do the same for General Alvarez. Let's also take a moment to appreciate General Louis Carvalho here. He's 36 years old. He's got quite a few traits. He is a happy drinker. And you know what, man? I don't blame him for having a few, considering the fact that he has fought these Mughal forces before, and he knows that more of them are out there lurking. So he's doing great work for us. I have no complaints about Mr. Louis Carvalho. And Mr. Joaquim Alvarez, who is older, but definitely second best to General Carvalho. However, he does have a stupid nephew that everybody loves to laugh at, and he's got a couple of decent traits here. He is a solid general. Also notable to point out is that Satara brought us another school and a nice little cotton plantation here, which has added to our trade revenue. Now, as far as the trade zones go, we still have a spot in the Straits of Madagascar. This is our trade fleet, which is all of these trade ships and just a couple of brigs and a sloop. Nothing crazy. Hopefully they avoid a fight, but they are bringing in quite a bit of revenue for us right now. And we no longer have a spot on the Ivory Coast or in Brazil, which is unfortunate. However, we will be back. We've also had some changes in our diplomatic stances with certain countries. Obviously, we're still at war with Spain and the Dutch. We're winning these wars, but they are annoying. And so we're going to have to make sure we continue striking blows to these people. I have tried on multiple occasions to offer them peace. I've even tried to offer giving regions back, and they're not even willing to do that. So we're going to have to make them continue to pay for prolonging these wars. Now, we are no longer allied with Great Britain, but they are friendly to us, and we still have a trade agreement with them. So that's very nice. However, we have picked up another ally, the Knights of St. John. They have become very friendly to us. And they've even parked this stout little fleet right here, right off the coast of Portugal. So we welcome them, and I appreciate their enthusiasm about working with the Portuguese. Now, hopefully, they don't do anything stupid. But we appreciate our new friends over on Malta. Back in Portugal, we have General Luis de Sousa, who just finished his offensive on Madrid. And he's not the most decorated general, but he did successfully lead the defense of Portugal and the offensive on into Spain. Now, also in Europe, in our capital right now, we have the young buck, General Ayano. Now he's unproven, but he starts off with some decent stars. He's young. He's our youngest um, general by far. So we're excited to see what the future holds for the young man. Now, as for our Navy, we have one Admiral, Roberto Fernandez. Now, he's a highly accomplished commander. He's defeated a Dutch battle fleet, he's defeated a Spanish battle fleet. Now, he wasn't always our sole admiral. We did have another admiral by the name of Frederico Teixeira. Now, because Admiral Fernandez was the admiral in charge of the fleet, I kind of lost track of where Admiral Teixeira was. But he did manage to score some very nice blows for us against the Spanish fleet. But later on, you can see here, he lost a mast. And he actually lost this mast by friendly fire from Admiral Fernandez's flagship as he was shooting on this surrendered Spanish sloop. Later on, Admiral Teixeira's flagship found itself side by side with the Spanish galley, the Terrible. Unfortunately, since he wasn't marked, I wasn't paying attention to this. I wouldn't have let this happen if I knew that it was happening. But I had no idea that Admiral Teixeira had found himself in this kind of situation. And so you can see here, he's just getting lit up by the Terrible. And pretty soon, his ship starts to list quite a bit to the right. You can see here in this shot, and they're still just laying it on him. And it wasn't long before the ship started going down and everybody just started piling out. There's Admiral Teixeira there himself, jumping ship. So it's very unfortunate. Just an oversight on my part, but you know, nothing we can do about it now. It's in the past. R.I.P. So our government, we still have the same monarch, Pedro II, our king. He's picked up a couple of things since the beginning of the campaign. His pet hermit is new. But, I mean, he's not hurting anything. In fact, he is helping. So, that's quite nice. He has a mistress, the lovely lady, Lizabelle. That's what we'll call her. I don't know if is that a name, Lizabelle? We'll go with it. And all of his traits are bad. He's lewd and loose. But you know what? That's just part of the times. I mean, we're filthy rich, you know. So we'll get somebody better in there. But for the time being, that's the guy. Now he does have a daughter, right? Isabel. Yeah, she's 8 now. She is 8 years old. How lovely. And he has a 7-year-old son. Wait, okay, why didn't it tell us about the kid? It definitely told us about Isabel. This is the first I'm seeing of Zhao. And Pedro. Okay, have we had all these kids since the start of the campaign? But this is the only one it's told me about? Interesting. Oh, wait, well, I guess, yeah, he does have the mistress. I guess he has been active. All right. Well, our governor of India, he did lead the way in the negotiations with the Mughal Empire to bring an end to that war. And it's been a lasting peace so far. It's actually been a couple of years. All of our ministers, pretty much the same. All right, so now it's going to be the time where I sit here with a cup of coffee and I decide how I want to approach the near future in this game, because we've got our economy back in a good position. We're winning the war against Spain. We're winning the war against the Dutch. We've got peace in India. Um, I would really like a good, like, I'd say 4 or 5 turns of probably chill, like peace, saving up some money, building up our land forces, especially in Europe. The main project I would like to get underway, and already is kind of underway at the moment, is getting our shipyards and our trading ports upgraded to commercial ports, um, and dockyards. I would really like that. That would really uh, give us the ability to recruit some much stronger ships, and it would give us a pretty large boost to our trade route income. I mean, we'd be able to get these bonuses multiplied by every port that we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, counting India. That is just going to explode our economy once we're able to do that. That is going to be expensive though, because each one of these is going to cost about 3,500. Yep, and this one dockyard 5,000. Um, so we also have to multiply this cost by 6 for all of the trade ports for us to be getting the maximum value out of this. But we're going to have time to save up that money, because we still have 3 whole researches we have to do for the commercial port, 3 we have to do for the dockyard, and they're different. So we're actually working on naval shore facilities right now, which is going to help us with the dockyard. I do think I want to try to get the commercial ports upgraded first. I would rather do that first, because the income that they're going to bring in will be more than enough to pay for the ships that I would build in my dockyard. But so we need seasoning, preserved foods, and division of labor to build these commercial ports. That's still a little ways out. Preserved foods, I have been having our gentlemen just repeatedly attempt to steal it over here in France, because he's also providing us with line of sight on Paris. So we can actually see that it's pretty undefended right now for the most part. I am sending this rake up. He's going to make his way up around here, because I would like to be able to see everything that's going on all along this line here. And I also would like to see what's going on over here. There are opportunities for expansion. We've got a Spanish city and the Dutch capital right here, that we could attack. I would be more likely, I'd probably go for either Sardinia or Naples first before I'd go for one of these, just because I feel like, considering we control Gibraltar, it's a safer bet to expand our influence in the Mediterranean first rather than trying to go north. So if we do expand in Europe in the near future, it's probably going to be somewhere over here. India, I would really like to just maintain the peace. Um, I would not be surprised if war comes to us sometime in the near future. Yeah, but if we are going to move into the Mediterranean, the first thing we have to do is take out this Spanish fleet right here. But we have our battle fleets headed up from India, and we just defeated a fleet that was much stronger than this one. So I think we'll be able to handle them once we get ourselves over here. So yeah, let's hit it. See what happens. Pro, stop. Good to see Austria supporting a fleet so that they can stop themselves from being blockaded. There we go. Yes, Austria. Thank goodness. Protect your trade routes, bro. All right, we got a good little Bit of income there. Good amount of recruitment done. This fella has failed once again. We're gonna give him one more go at it. Nice little Spanish army over here in Milan. Stronger French army though. Alright, fleets here. Alright, all these people are allowed to trade. I will allow it. Oh, hello. Juan Jose Fernandez. We have just caught a Spanish galleon out here in East Africa, just all alone. That's what I want. Come on. Come on, line it up, line it up. There you go. Oh, wow. They made those masts from some good trees. Swing it around, swing it around. Ah, there's a mast. Good job, guys. Swing it, swing it. Come on, swing it, swing it. We're giving them a lot to think about. We're giving him a whole lot to think about. Look at him. He's thinking. He's thinking. Okay. Is that it? Come on, buddy. It doesn't have to be this way. You can keep your one mast if you quit now. If you just give up now, you can keep your one mast. I'm taking his mast. We tried to make a deal. He won't negotiate. Have to have that mask, man. It didn't have to be like this, dude. It didn't have to be like this. Look, yeah, now you got no mask. Now you want to surrender. Come on, dude. Head back to India. That fleet needs you. Now we'll continue on to the Ivory Coast. We'll do some more matchlock musketeers. Yeah, so we've dismantled these pleasure gardens in Barcelona, and I'm going to be putting up a craft workshop. The reason I'm doing that is because if you look over here, we have the next level of the craft workshop, the Weaver's Cottage. And at the second level of this building, it starts giving us a decrease in our upkeep costs for our Navy. With our Navy expanding so much, this 1%, which at the next level is going to go to 2% right here, up to 3% with the last level, as well as adding region wealth. This is going to be really nice for our economy as well, because if we look right now, our Navy upkeep, it's actually not as large as our Army, but that's still pretty big. We want to look at getting both of these numbers down if we can. All right, now, into that turn. General Alvarez has developed no sense of shame, which adds to happiness for the nobility. All right. All right. He's not getting it done in France. Another French army.
Sim, capitão. À espera de novas ordens. Velas estendidas.
Just passing by. I'm going to come here to our port, our shipyard at Cadiz. And I'm going to queue up a couple of brig of wars. All right, on to the next one. Wait. Income going down, but it's because upkeep is going up mostly, because trade is staying the same. Our income isn't dipping, it's just that our upkeep is rising. I'm not surprised. This is unfortunate. But this is what we've been building up for. So we'll see what happens. We have executed an enemy agent, apparently, somewhere in India. We had an election, but all the same guys still. The Mughals are raiding our stuff. I am going to upgrade the barracks in Satara. We have finished square formation and military planning doctrine, which reduces upkeep for the army, which is still very high. Now to fight this battle, I've went and activated the 40 unit submod so that I could merge this entire force into one army and fight with it all at once, because otherwise I wasn't able to use my actual full numerical advantage in this situation. But thanks to the submod, I can. strap in because the next turn, things get really interesting. I've tested this a few different ways. I thought maybe because I turned on the 40 unit submod, that maybe that somehow changed the diplomacy decision making for the AI. But just check this out.
Espero ao seu prazer.
So we've got war with the British. We've got war with the French. Again, no allies getting involved. And we've got war with the Ottomans. And we're actually, well, we are already at war with the Islamic Emirate, but not the Crimean Khanate. We're actually trading with Crimea right now. All right, now we do have a very easy defense of Goa right here. Got some construction finished. And General Alvarez has a corporal in gold braid. Okay, so we've got to keep an eye on this French army right here in Savoy. This is the only full stack of theirs that I've seen in Europe. However,
Meu senhor.
with that in mind, I'm also going to bring this guy over here. We're just gonna try to scout around this area through southern France and just make sure we don't miss anything coming through here, because they do have some forces out in this direction. They could be sending an army down through here, and we wouldn't be able to see it right now. I'm gonna have General de Sousa take up a forward position at this bridge.
Pronti a guardar ordem.
We are going to go ahead and try to plan on defending this bridge if they do attack us. The young fella, General Baiano, will stay back in Portugal just to make sure, in case somebody drops an army on us, we don't want to be caught leaving here. Gonna bring our navy up here, and we're gonna park them right on this trade route, because now we are going to be raiding quite a few people on this, just on this one little stretch here. In fact, actually, let's send them here. So we'll get even more.
Espero de novas ordens.
Little boost to our income. That's nice. Next turn, I will be heading over to deal with this Spanish fleet. But that is going to be the stopping point for episode 5. Thank you so much for watching. At the beginning of next episode, we're going to take on this Spanish fleet. We're going to carry on the fight against the Mughals, and we're going to see what the French are going to do in Europe. I mean, this war could go a lot of different ways. I've been reading you guys' comments, and I agree. It would be very nice to get out there and stick our nose in the Americas, swipe the Spanish colonies off of them. Now we could potentially swipe the French colonies. But I don't want to overextend myself quite yet. But just know that I share the desire for Portugal to rightfully take her place in the Americas. But we'll cover that next time. Until then, thank you for watching Jim Bird TV. As always, I've been your humble host, Jackson, and I'll see you later.